We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to A Free Solution. Larry Sharp here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira and Corning, The Patriot, WACK in the cool Newark, New York. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. Many of you know that I am also the host of the Sharp Way Show, which is on almost every night, 7 p.m. here on the East Coast. But today, why do I keep doing this show too? Why do I love this show so much? There's many reasons why. But the number one reason is I love New York. It's a New York-based show out of Western New York, which I love. So I usually talk heavily New York stuff, which is great. That's what I love doing. I want to talk about something, New York, from about 17, 18 years ago. The 2003 blackout. Some of you may remember it. I actually was doing a sales job. I was in New Jersey at the time, doing a sales job and listening to the radio, driving around doing cold calling. I know, it sounds crazy. That's what I was doing. All of a sudden, the radio that I'm listening to kind of stops and then goes about 7 seconds back and starts over. Like, wow, that's kind of weird. What happened there? I didn't get that. And my wife texts me that, oh yeah, there's no electricity. It's all out. It's blackout. I didn't believe her. The what? There's no blackout. What are you talking about? Then I realized something. I used to work in radio. And I was like, oh, radio shows. I'm going to have to make this work, right? I got to make this work. So I think, okay, what am I going to do? It's a blackout. I'm in Jersey. How do I get to my wife who was working in Manhattan at the time? Now, when I try to call her and I say, hey, what are we going to do? I can't call her. Either the lines are busy and I all of a sudden can't get a hold of her anymore. So I can't get a hold of my wife. She's in Manhattan working. I'm in New Jersey working. What am I going to do? Oh my God. What do I do? I fell back to a plan that we had. Me being that crazy Marine that I am, we had a plan. It was after 9/11. And we didn't know if something was going to happen after 9/11. So I had the same plan as always, which is if something goes wrong in the city, my wife was to walk across the 59th Street Bridge and meet me in front of the Marine recruiting office, which is in Astoria. Those of you who don't know Long Island City, in that area across the 59th Street Bridge. If you know the area, you know what I'm talking about. So meet me there and I will get you. And I realized I'm in trouble. That's what I got to do. So I begin to just take off, try to get across the George Washington Bridge so that I could avoid Manhattan, come down in Queens, pick my wife up. Well, I started to realize something. There were cops at all of the intersections. They were directing traffic because the lights were out. So I thought, oh, they can't catch me for speeding. So I was going, give or take, I don't know, 90, 100 miles an hour down the expressway. I'm sorry, New Jersey Turnpike and the George Washington Bridge. And at that time, the George Washington Bridge had, people collecting money. And then, of course, the easy passes, which weren't working. So people were standing in line to pay. I don't want to stand in line to pay. I blew right by. Why? Cameras don't work. I know. I sound so terrible. You're like, Larry, you're a criminal. Maybe. Anyway, so I just zip down as fast as I can. I'm going 100 miles an hour on a George Washington Bridge because I got to pick my wife up. So zipping down there, head on down, and I'm waiting outside of the recruiting station. And my wife walks with two of her friends, and I pick them up, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's here! You said he'd be here, and he's here." And she's like, "Yeah, that's my husband. We made a plan. He followed it. There we go." So now I take them around. All good. I feel like a champ. My plan worked. See, look at me. My plan worked. I was ready. It's great. The problem is I wasn't ready for the long haul. I was ready for the short haul. We were ready. Had my vehicle, knew how to drive, knew where to go, knew what streets to avoid, right? So I was ready. I got her friends home. I got my wife home. At that point, we had no kids. It was just her and I. We even had food ready. We had lots of stuff we were ready for. We weren't ready for more than one day. We just weren't. So then it became difficult. It was the summer. We had no AC. We didn't have enough fans, no generators. So there were some things that this crisis showed some holes. It showed some holes in our plan. But what I didn't do is say everything was wrong because of the blackout. I looked at the blackout and I said, okay, what could I learn from it? What could I make better? What could I improve? And my wife and I, we did improve. We're better now. If that happens again, we've done other things to make things even better. And as we do this, we took the advantage of this and found flaws to repair. Why do I bring this up? Because the pandemic has done a similar thing for New York State, except we weren't ready for anything. And instead of our government now in New York State going, you know what? I'm so glad this shined a light on our infrastructure problems. Now we have an impetus. Now we have a reason to fix some of our problems, our issues, our concerns. We're not doing that. We're doing two things. Number one, saying everything was basically good until the pandemic. So everything that's bad, oh, well, we're in debt now because of the pandemic. We were in debt before. People are leaving New York State because of the pandemic. They were even before. We have difficult leadership because of the pandemic. Oh no, you were a terrible governor way before the pandemic. Absolutely. Nothing but bad. So actual issues and concerns, we are just blaming the pandemic and not repairing. But what are we saying is something we should repair? Social issues. That's it. Not that they're not bad. Social issues are an issue. We should care about them. Absolutely. As a primary issue? No, not a government. That's not the primary issue, but it is now. It shouldn't be. Maybe we should say that. It shouldn't be. How about that? It seems to be, but it shouldn't be. And we're saying, oh, now the problems, the social problems, let's fix those. And what I would argue is the social problems were just as obvious as the economic problems. The economic problems were just as obvious as the infrastructure problems. The debt problems were just as obvious as all the problems. But the social problems we can blame somebody else on. So we do. As a government, I mean, I shouldn't say we. Obviously, you and I don't do that. But as a government, we do. We blame somebody else. Infrastructure? Oh, no, that's because of the pandemic. And that's not me. Here's what I want you to understand, though. It's important to understand this. And people say it, and you should correct them. I lost my business because of the pandemic. Or I lost my career because of the pandemic. Or my son or my daughter, they lost an opportunity in school because of the pandemic. That's all wrong. The pandemic was real, and it absolutely does something. What it does is it hurts and kills the elderly. Some to people who aren't elderly, some younger, but rare. General rule, it hurts and or kills the elderly. That's what it does. That's a real effect of the pandemic. 100% real effect. But shutting down businesses, destroying opportunities for students, crushing careers. COVID doesn't do that. Only government could do that. And it wasn't like careers were great before the pandemic. It wasn't like we weren't in trouble before the pandemic. It just showed how bad we were. A whole lot of I told you so about to come up. You know it is. But that'll happen after the break. Larry Sharp, A Free Solution. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to
Somehow
operate.
that program
Slow,
feed
unreliable
disconnected. I had to
networks and
reestablish
servers
it.
Can cause unplanned downtime and affect
You're
your
welcome.
bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
We have a caller, James from Rochester.
Free solution.
Hey, it's Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. And by the way, this show isn't just on today. 5 days a week. Are you kidding me? Yes, it is. And you can get cool people like me here or there, but you also get the super cool Kevin Wilson, and sometimes you get the ultra cool Andrew Hollister to come on here too. Not too shabby. You can do that and follow us on A Free Solution on Facebook and YouTube. That will ensure that you never miss the show ever. But I'm here now. Larry Sharp, host of the Sharp Way Show on WYSL Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira, according to the Patriot, and WACK in Newark, New York. A lot of people have been in the chat talking about how they prepare and things like that. And that's savvy. We should. We should take some personal responsibility and try. Not everything has to be our responsibility, obviously, and not all of us can take the time and energy to prepare for everything. But we should look at what we can and can't do. Of course, we should. Like we had flashlights, right? Now we have more of them. So we're able to find the flashlights easily in the dark. No worries. We're able to use the flashlights in our home, but we didn't have enough extra batteries. Like we weren't ready for how long that was. For those of you who were around then, that wasn't a 2-day blackout. That was a multiple week blackout. And we weren't ready for that. Now we're better prepared. So I think that's a very interesting point. I'm going to grab a call if I can. I got James from Rochester. James, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, Larry, and enjoy your show. I had a question for you. Like you, I lived through 9/11. I was in Manhattan for 9/11, and I wonder if you would refresh. I wonder if you. Ouch is right. It woke me out of bed and everything. It was early in the morning, but I want you to refresh my memory because I've been telling people this for a long time. Okay, I just want to see if you had heard this too. Now I understand. Now it's my memory that they told us if after the situation, we were not allowed to leave Manhattan Island that night, and we were also not allowed to go beneath 14th Street without an ID. Now I'm wondering, did I get that right or
no?
I've been
You
telling
were right.
people that.
This is why I rushed to get my wife out immediately, because I knew what New York City will do, what any government does, and particularly law enforcement. Law enforcement's rules are always the same. Something bad happens, lockdown. That's the answer. So once the horses leave the barn, lock the barn. That is what law enforcement always does. That is their normal thing. They did that again, right? Which is why we had a secondary piece, by the way, which most people don't know. And this is very New York City. You might get this. In the north part of Manhattan, there are several bridges that go across to the Bronx, right?
Yes.
Malcolm's Dam Bridge, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue Bridge, a bunch of them. If you don't live in Manhattan or the Bronx, I used to live in the South Bronx, you don't even know those bridges exist. You have no idea.
Right.
So if anyone locks down bridges or blows up bridges or attacks New York, they're always going to go for the downtown Manhattan bridges, right? The Brooklyn Bridge and 59th Street Bridge, whatever the case may be. So my wife and I actually had a secondary plan in case that happened. And there was, I think it still exists, there was a gaseteria in the Bronx across the Madison Avenue Bridge. And if they blew any of the bridges or locked them down, I would meet her at the gaseteria. So your point is a valid one. Yes, I was ready just in case it happened.
Wow. Because I didn't think about it at the time. It was, but I figured, well, if you live in New Jersey and you're working in Manhattan, how would you get, if you had children, how would you get home? Well, I don't understand. I never heard how that went down. If you couldn't get back,
you could. Yes, you had to go to the cops and hope they would respond. Lots of people were trapped. Again, you may be wondering, why was I going 100 miles an hour, literally across George Washington Bridge? Why was I going 100 miles an hour on the Jersey Turnpike? Because of exactly what you said. I knew they would lock it all down.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to have to explain to a policeman anything at a time like that. My comment. I finally got a great apartment in the village, and we were out on the roof watching the cacophony, and we all came to the conclusion. And I hate to say this, but I will. We have freedom in America as long as the government allows us to have it, but they can take it away at any point. So, we were not allowed to go anywhere. So I thought I would throw that out. I don't know if that's valid, but
no. If you remember, it was George Carlin years ago. I mean, it's got to be 30 years ago now, maybe. He's the one who said, in America, we don't actually have rights. He says we have privileges, and that the government will allow us to have privileges when we do well enough with the government. And sadly, I think this government shutdown has shown us that. I think you're right.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
All right, James. Thank you so much for the call, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. Love your show, man. All right, bye-bye.
Have a good one. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a comment from the chat. Shauna says, the governor shut down schools, shut down businesses, all to push his agenda, now holding tiny carrots of hope in front of us, saying you will do this or you will not have state funding or state aid. That's correct, Shauna. He uses that to them and says, hey, look, here's money. But I want to also add on top of this, add James's piece. He's also saying, do good and you can have your privileges back. He's doing it individually with privileges and then schools and businesses with funding. Both. It's about control. That's really what it's about. I appreciate the comment, Shauna. Thank you. And I want to keep going down this road because as he maintains control, you begin to forget about how bad he was in the first place. You know, you hear him talking about, well, I'm going to give you state funding, right? We're going to see how we can fund the MTA, and the MTA is in trouble now here in New York. I know if you don't live in New York City, you might say, Larry, why in the world do I care about the subway in New York City? I'll tell you why. You pay for it. Yeah, you do. Every year, prior to last year and this year, New York State wrote a check to the MTA for $6 billion. It was always $6 billion in debt before the pandemic. So if you live in Rochester, so James in Rochester, thank you for paying for my subway. You should probably come down and take it one day because you're paying for it. So since you're all paying for my subway rides, thank you. I appreciate it. Sadly, you're not doing it voluntarily. I wish you were. So that's happening. You should care because you're paying for it. That money's going to the MTA every year. And now he pretends like, well, if this happens, we'll do this, we'll do that. It's because of COVID. It was being mismanaged before. Well, our budget, we're at X billion dollars, deficit now, 15 or 30 billion. We were already $6 billion in deficit and $400 billion in debt. Yet our governor will say, I balance the budget every year. You know how he balances the budget? By changing how much money he can borrow. I'm not joking. Increase the amount of money you can borrow, budget balanced. That's a good magic trick. I like that one. I wish I could do that. So I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I'll just magically borrow more money. There we go. My bills are paid. Done. That's exactly how it works. So everything that James is talking about is true. What Shauna's talking about is true. And they've used this, let me not say they is wrong. Our Lord and Master, His Majesty, King Cuomo II, he uses it to forget all about the bad he's done in the past and to have you say, oh, I'm so glad he's given us our privileges back. He saved us. What a great guy he is. But I would ask you, what are we actually fixing? What are we actually fixing? Do we have better economics, better business, better schools? Are we actually fixing it? No. We're focused on two things. COVID, do what I say, and social issues. Social is important. It is, not primary. What's really important? I'm going to tell you after the break. Larry Sharp, our free solution, WYSL Radio, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
The new Dan Bongino Show, coming May 24th. AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, staying a little milder out there, generally remaining in the 60s overnight. On Friday, another very warm day, mid-80s, maybe some upper 80s for a high, sun and clouds. Again, just that slight shower threat, but most of us are rain-free. Heading into the weekend, a little more humid in the 80s Saturday with an afternoon shower threat. Better chance for a few raindrops Sunday. I'm Rich Cadillo, WYSL.
At Victor Chevrolet, we want you to know we are here for your transportation needs. Our factory-trained specialist in the Victor Service Department can expertly handle any repair. Our concierge service can arrange for pickup and delivery of your vehicle if you choose. We are here for repairs, maintenance, inspections, warranty work, and recalls. Victor Chevrolet can help no matter where you bought your car or truck. And if you need a new vehicle, Victor can sell you a car virtually on our website, victorchevrolet.com, or at our store. Call 869-6196. Trade-ins, financing, leasing. They're all available remotely and at your convenience. We're here to fully serve Chevy customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Depend on Victor Chevrolet, here for you with sales or any service issue, no matter where you bought your vehicle. Give us a call at 869-6196 or visit victorchevrolet.com. You can depend on the team at Victor Chevy for all your transportation needs, now and in the future.
Spring is here, and even warmer weather's finally on the way. To get the best out of summer, think Springwater Amish Workshop, helping you enhance your outdoor spaces. Springwater Amish Workshop has just received a new shipment of double kiln-dried, organically pressure-treated lawn and deck furniture. Gliders, folding Adirondack chairs, picnic tables, and benches will spruce up your lawn for family celebrations and get-togethers. Springwater Amish Workshop has all the decorative touches to make your yard distinctive, including wishing wells, lighthouses, windmills, and footbridges. Gazebo time is here. And of course, they specialize in storage buildings in the size you want, painted the colors you want, and placed just where you need it. Get the best quality, best warranty, best service, best selection. Get yours ordered today to avoid delay. Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Route 15 in Springwater. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com or visit them on Facebook. Call 585-669-9710.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
See if a career at Mary Cariola Center is right for you by answering these simple questions. Are you compassionate? Do you enjoy participating in success? Like to work school hours? Do you want to be aligned with one of the best organizations in the community? If you said yes to any of these questions, you may have a future at Mary Cariola Center. Since 1949, the Mary Cariola Center has served children, youth, and young adults with developmental disabilities and complex medical needs in the Rochester region. Visit marycariola.org and click on employment.
What does it mean to bank locally with Tompkins? It means keeping your money in your community with a team of neighbors to guide you through big decisions and milestones, plus all the convenience of our mobile app where you can manage your account, deposit checks remotely, send money to family and friends, even turn your card off if it gets misplaced, then back on when you find it. Ready to bank locally with the team at Tompkins? Visit Tompkins Bank of Castile online or at a branch to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My name is Stephanie Ingalls, and I'm a team member at Tom Wall's Brighton. I take the extra time to make real old-fashioned milkshakes with ice cream and milk produced by upstate New York farmers. Will you take the time to stop in at Tom Wall's and enjoy real milkshake? Moo!
Remember, Scotty's Detail Auto Body for all of your body paint and collision repairs. And also remember, it's still the collision shop of your choice during that unfortunate time. Scotty's Detail Auto Body, Route 15 East Avon, just a quarter mile north of I-390, exit 9.
A free solution.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharp, host of the Sharpway Show. You can follow Sharpway, cool Sharpway stuff if you want to. I'm on all the interweb things, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just put in Sharpway. I'm there. Today, don't go there now. Stay here with me. I'm here on a free solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira, Corning, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. Before the break, talking about the pandemic and the excuses that it has created for our terrible governing here in New York and the issues that we've dealt with. And that we're taking the time to focus heavily on social issues, which absolutely are important. But you know what's more important is an environment of success and happiness. Why is that more important? Because happy people are more open to doing socially cool things. That's how it works. That's just human nature. We become much more about abundance and not about scarcity. We become much more about sharing and not about fear. We become much more about allowing each other to be themselves, not about why are you doing that? Why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? Abundance is good if we're happy. And I don't mean abundance just in cash. That, of course, matters. But I mean abundance in feeling of belonging, of purpose, of hope, of all those things that we want. There are some times when we feel like, you know what, we're pretty much not going to move forward on a certain front. We're kind of at our peak. But those around us, we want them to move forward, whether those are our parents or our friends or our children or our partners or spouses, whatever that might be. That too, it's a feeling of abundance, of warmth. When that happens, dealing with social issues becomes a whole lot easier. But when you're feeling like they're taking something away, they're mean, they're oppressing me, I can't get where I want to go, someone's in my way, someone's stopping me, this group is bad, that group is bad. How can you move forward socially? In fact, the reverse happens. There's a backlash against social issues because you're ignoring the more important issues. Again, I don't want to say social issues are not important. They are. They're just not the top to be forward. Because if you put them top, nothing gets done. If you put the bigger environment on top, then social issues get done. That's how it works. So we want to make sure that that's what we're focusing on. I do not want to ignore social issues. They do matter. But if we focus only on those, then the actual infrastructure that keeps our society together begins to collapse. And then any changes that we make socially aren't real. They're just symbolic, right? Symbolic. I spoke on my Sharpway show the other night about the idea that my daughter in school is learning about whether or not we should tear down Columbus statues. You might say, well, Larry, that seems dumb. Well, I don't mind talking about it, I guess, but it's a whole unit on it, which was crazy to me. But the point being, why would you even care? Larry, why do we want to tear down a statue? Because it's symbolic. It feels good. I actually joked with my daughter. I said, great, we'll tear down the statue, and now all the indigenous wrongs are now righted. Now there's no problem with our Native American population. Solved. Now I'm teasing, obviously. And she got that I was teasing. She's 11, and she got that I was teasing. So, but why would you want to tear a statue down? There's still problems with the American government and our Native American population. Here in New York, we still have problems with our Native American population, right? We still have it. Cigarette taxes. Come on, all kind of issues. All types of issues. So let's pull down a statue. Okay, now we feel good. Yeah. See what I did? See, Andrew? I solved the Native American problems. I pulled down that statue. Now, I know I'm joking, but to be forward, it does feel good. It does feel good. It's true. It just doesn't do anything except feel good. That's the problem. It only feels good. Nope, I'm sorry. I have to go further. It actually is hurtful because once you've pulled the statue down, it feels good, but it also feels like you've done something and you actually haven't. So now you don't work on any underlying issues that you might have. You don't work on those because I pulled the statue down. Ed, haven't I done enough? I pulled the statue down. Can we move on? That's what winds up happening. So we have to worry about the underlying issues. That's what I mean all the time. We have to worry about that. Let me grab a couple comments from the web if I could. Ed says, as much as I learned from the pandemic, it was hard to get a job and saving money was okay until I developed some skills when I started to do my small business. Oh, look at that. And sell some trading cards that I needed for store credit, which helps me to save a lot for my money at the time and giving back to the hobby. Well, Ed, look how cool that is. You use some initiative, you use some imagination to create some cash for yourself to keep your sanity, right? To still have a hobby and not just stay home and watch Netflix all day. So that's great. And of course, make some cash and start a small business. Very nice. I love that. Well done. So let me grab another one if I could. Let's see here. Sonia says, the one plus side to Mr. Cuomo forgetting that Cattaraugus County exists is that my daughter got to continue going back to school 5 days a week in person. Yes, lo and behold, the school had a great plan in place. Crazy, Sonia, how localism sometimes work. It works. I've been talking about forever. That didn't involve the government. We've been doing very well. Thank you for that. Look, if you're in New York City as I am, you might have said, oh my God, we're so dense. We have so much dense population that we should maybe shut down schools. That was wrong, but I could understand that. Cattaraugus County? Sonia, what do you guys have, like 70,000 people, give or take? I know you're under 100. You, Allegheny, and Wyoming in that area, you're all under 100. I think Allegheny and Wyoming are like 50. I think you're like 75, 70. And Chautauqua was big. Chautauqua was over 100, and Erie's almost 1 million. But it's a small county, population-wise. Size, it's decent size. But population, it's small. Density, it's low. Maybe you could have a different idea than we could have here in New York. Yes, and it could work. And you had safety. You guys had nowhere near the number of casualties we had in New York City. And that's exactly right. Thank you for that, Sonia. I completely agree. Andrew says, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Andrew Cuomo. The good, well-maintained hair. Valid point, Andrew. I'll give you that. Look, I got to give credit where credit is due. He has nice hair. Okay, well done. The bad, his policies, yes. His attitude towards the people of New York. Yet, Andrew, you're hitting it. Nice. And the ugly, laws, mandates, himself, his BS. Andrew, I don't know if I could have given a fairer assessment. Well done. Yes. Avi says the pandemic is an excuse for everything. Yes. Avi, yes. And this is my point, and we're believing it because we're so afraid we're buying it. We're just scared. So, oh my God, we're all going to die. This is why we're not changing. This is why people are keeping the masks on. This is why people are still doing 6 feet, even if they're vaccinated, because they're just afraid. You can't change people's habits for over a year and not expect some social consequences. And this is one of them. Yeah. So many of the small towns and their building departments are not open and barely functioning. Yes, also true. Construction times takes longer. Nobody answers when you call, yet they have no problem demanding their money for fees and real estate taxes. Yes. The beauty of government is to never improve and always demand more. I'm so stealing that. The beauty of government is to never improve and always demand more. Avi, well done. Yes. I mean, that's a true thing, right? We're out there saying, you still owe me taxes. You still owe me fees. Oh, you going to build something? No. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. James was saying, building something on your own property? James, come on, privilege. Maybe I'll let you do it. You still got to pay me, but we'll figure out if you get to build something or not. I completely agree. Schools, construction, business, this is what we have to work on now, and that was bad before the pandemic. Larry Sharp, a free solution, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira, Corning, the Patriot, WACK, Newark, New York. That, by the way, is the cool Newark. So happy to be here. I'm glad you guys give me a small chunk of your afternoon. It's amazing. Thank you, as always. Prior to the break, I was talking about what we've learned and what we haven't learned, what excuses we've used to cover up our bad governing here in New York State. And I want to be very clear on something. I was talking to a friend of mine, giving him some advice, and he was asking me about a relationship issue. And I said, when it comes to relationships, romantic relationships, there's something that's really sexy if you can do it right. And that is, with your partner, be both vulnerable and confident together. You can do both. Being just vulnerable or just confident is nice, right? It's nice depending upon the environment, what you're doing with your significant other. But when you can do both, that's sexy. People like that. I'm going to say that's also attractive as any leader, as any governor, as any mayor, as any politician. You can be vulnerable and say, hey, we've made some mistakes. We've got some problems, but I'm confident that we can fix them. And the best leaders don't do what we have been doing now, which is, you go back home, I got this. I will go do all the things. I will make all the decisions. I will decide what's right and wrong. You do as you're told, and I'll get you out of this. That's not a leader. That's a savior, right? That's a savior. I'm going to make it all right. That's not the answer. A good leader doesn't say, I got this, I'll do it all. A good leader says, all right, Andrew, Shauna, Sonia, James, we're in trouble. We got some problems. Let's fix it. Help me to figure this out. I need you to get up, give me some answers, make some stuff happen. I need you to start thinking, how do we fix this? What's the right answer? I need you on board with this. I need you to be part of the solution. Whether you're part of the problem or not, I don't know. I don't care. We're all in this together. Let's do something. That's what we are lacking. This is what localization is about. This is what post-industrial leadership is about. This is what the future is about. Because what Sonia mentioned today is exactly right. Her county found an answer. Yeah. And others could have looked at that and said, oh, I like that. But that might not have worked in Erie County. Erie County's got, what, 1 million people, give or take? I don't know if I'm exactly right, but in that area, 1 million people? Maybe it's not going to work in Erie County. It might not. But then they can find their own solution. And if they don't or can't, guess what they can do? Also be vulnerable and ask for help and say, Cattaraugus County figured it out. We can't. We can't figure it out. Help us. But Larry, then what will happen? They won't have the right answer. Yeah, but they'll get it. And we'll work together to figure it out. And guess what? It won't be in order. They'll decide to do it. And most importantly, we will have built an actual infrastructure to help each other, an infrastructure to take charge and not wait. Think about this. We just waited until someone told us it's okay. I mean, not everybody did, but too many of us. How about that? Too many of us just waited and said, I'm going to stay home and watch Netflix all day until my betters tell me I can go out. Too many New Yorkers did that. That's not a good environment. That's not a good way of thinking. The right way is everyone together. And you might say, well, Larry, if I do that, then how am I going to carry my stick and my carrot and make the counties do as I say? Yeah, you're not. That's the point. That's exactly the point. It hasn't worked. It hasn't been working for 11 years. In case you didn't notice, New York State lost 1.4 million people in the last 10 years. Not counting last year. It might be 2 million if you count last year. Who knows? We'll figure that out soon. Yeah, it's not working. A very simple measure of whether your place, whatever place it is, if it's valuable to the people, is that people want to go there. If they're running away, you're doing something wrong, right? You're doing something wrong. This is an issue that we're not looking at. We're looking at being righteous, not being correct. We're looking at control, not outcome. Outcomes matter. I cannot say this enough. I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it. Our country was built on life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Yes, you're probably tired of me saying it. I don't care. It matters. We don't say it enough. Not on my people are right, shut up and do as I say. We actually fought a war to stop that. Like we fought a war. People died. People died so that we would not have to hear some king go, do as I say, because I'm the king. Now we're like, but it's my king. So it's okay. Because I'm a Democrat and I got a Democratic king. I'm a Republican, I got a Republican king. Therefore, it's okay. Yeah, no, it's not. I don't care what color the robe of your king is. I would like to not have a king. That's what I would like. No matter what color his robe is. If it's blue or red, doesn't matter. Bad king. That's what I guess I'm trying to say here. I want us to be vulnerable and confident and not fall back to just the idea of social issues, which we can blame on the nation or history or the racists or the misogynists or the whatever we want to blame in the future and the founding of the country. That's easy to blame. There's no responsibility there. Let's fix our state now. This pandemic has shown how broken our education system is. I just had somebody here in the chat mention that we spend over $25,000 per year per kid. It's more like 28, 29,000 in New York City. The average, I think, is 26. Yeah. And the report is so bad. Depending upon how you measure us, New York State almost never ranks in the top 25, usually bottom 25 of 50 states with the most amount of money spent. I'll go one step further. Our budget, $212 billion a year budget. 20 countries and California have bigger budget. That's it.
1 minute.
20 countries and California have bigger budget. Florida, more people than we have, no state income tax, half our budget. That's how bloated we are. Let's take this tragedy that is COVID and stop focusing on things that we don't have responsibility on, and instead focus on things we can repair and should repair. Let's be sexy. Let's be vulnerable. Let's be confident. And let's fix this state. And the biggest way we fix this state is by letting go and letting local people come up with answers. That's the real solution. That's a free solution. Every day, a free solution. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all tomorrow.